So hey, what is going on? This is Marco, Metalhead Rideshare Man here. It's been a while since I talked to you, and I'm going to try to improve my approach today. I'm not going to sound like I'm in the dark alley talking all monotone and stuff. Put a little life to my commentary. So how's it going, guys? Anyways, what I want to talk to you about today is the difference between Uber and Lyft as of right now, who's treating who better. And you will be surprised when I tell you this. I already made a couple of short videos telling you this, but this is my actual synopsis of what's going on. As of right now, believe it or not, Uber is taking care of their drivers quite a bit better than Lyft is. Forget about raising the rates, forget about the rates being paid, whatever. You know, that is what it is. Everybody's always talking, raise the rates, give the drivers more of the rates. Okay, so they both raised rates, gave the driver hardly any of the rates or none of the rates, depending. It doesn't matter. That being said, Lyft is not doing anything for the drivers right now. Nothing at all money-wise. Waiting time, you get nothing with Lyft. With Uber, you get 18 cents a minute. Just waiting time. Just sit around and wait for people to wait for 5 minutes to see if they will take a ride or not. Now, cancellation fee, Uber $4.20, Lyft $5. So they beat us there by 80 cents. With Uber, when you get waiting time, even on a minimum ride, if you are waiting 5 minutes, it's the minimum ride plus whatever the amount of time waited was. Lyft says that we do charge waiting time, but I never see it. I've been paid many minimum fares with Lyft, $3.19 because I was at 75%, and even after I waited over 5 minutes, there was never any extra left over. Nothing, zero. With Uber, I get $3.43 since I was at the 80%, and they also gave me a little bit of a raise after they raised the rates of 2 to 3 or 5%, whatever you want to call it. You get $3.43. And with 3 minutes waiting time, you get another 60 cents. So for a minimum ride, then you get $4 and change. That's that one. Number two, long pickup fee. If you have to go more than 10 or 15 minutes with Uber, I think it's 10, they give you extra money to get to the person. It rarely happens, so you have to do that, but they will give you extra money. Lyft, on the other hand, will try to get you to do that more often. They give you nothing. Okay? 3, the rates that they're raising the rates, not giving the drivers anything. Lyft gave us nothing. Uber gave us at least 3 cents a mile, plus a little extra on the other the other metrics. And I think that is it. Those are the 4 things that they gave you extra that you would normally expect that they would do. Waiting time's the same. Well, yeah, I mean, that's part of the metrics. So, for all the guys that go, oh, I do Lyft because they pay more, or I always hear from riders, oh, the drivers say that Lyft pays more. No, they don't. On the mileage side, I get, even if I were at 75% equal to Lyft, I would get at least 67 cents a mile. With Lyft, I get 64 because they never brought any of it up. So, just on the mileage and all the regular parameters or metrics or whatever you want to call them, Uber is still taking care of you. Now, what's funny is everybody thinks Uber is the one that sucks more, even though right now they both suck because of the fact that they both followed Uber down with lowering the rates, trying to expand the business, not growing slowly and sustainably. They wanted to become big overnight. And Travis Kalanick, by sheer genius, pulled that off. Yeah, he had to give stuff away and he had to run it at a loss. That's the way he did it. And they started big. Uber and Lyft both started big. They went to whoever their investors were and says, I need this many billions of dollars to get started. Because you can't start like with 3 drivers in San Francisco and then go to 10 drivers and 20 drivers. It would never work. You have to get the money to start to put thousands of drivers immediately on the platform and get them started. And with thousands of drivers, that means that some drivers will make a lot of money And some of them will go, duh, they told me I was going to make a lot of money, but I don't make any money at all. Because I don't know what's going on. It was guaranteed that they would make a lot of money. So, that's what they have to do. So, with Uber taking us all the way down to try to grow really fast, that's what everybody was pissed off at Uber and then Lyft for doing the same thing, because we went from supposedly doing 10 rides and making $250 for 10 rides to having to do 25 rides to make $200. I get it. I have a couple of vloggers that I listen to. One of them actually is like, you know, no matter what you do, it is going to take you hard work to get there. And just look at it this way, guys. I know there's not too many people that watch my videos right now, and that's okay. But for the guys that are watching, just think about it this way. I am not like a top driver. I'm somewhere in the middle, maybe in the top 30 or 40% as far as what's considered top driver, because I don't work 60, 70 hours a week right now. But for the amount of time I work, I make very, very good money. So let me ask you this. Would you rather work 40 hours a week at a place that you have to be there most likely at 8 o'clock in the morning, or if you're working a later shift, 11 o'clock, or if you're working a mid shift at 3 o'clock and you're stuck somewhere and you can't leave for at least 8 or 9 hours and make $35,000 to $40,000 a year before taxes? Or would you rather be in your car and be able to start anytime you want, leave anytime you want, work as hard as you want, and make anywhere from $35,000 to $40,000 a year in 8 or 9 hours a day to, you know, 12, 13, 14 hours a week if you want to work 50, 60 hours a week. And I know a lot of you guys, well, you have to work so many hours. Yeah, well, so does the guy that wears the shirt and tie, the mid-level supervisor, the department head. Those guys are all working 60, 70 hours a week to make their $60,000 or $78,000 a year. And in reality, with Uber and Lyft, even in Tampa Bay, which is not a high-powered market, somewhere in the middle, if you learn a couple things, and if you work 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, you will make $1,400 to $1,500 a week before taxes. And your expenses for gas on the front side are no different than your deductions for your W-2. They're still about 20, 25%. That's how much you usually get taken out for Social Security, FICA, and Medicare on the front side. And at $70-some thousand a year, sometimes you end up having to pay on the back end too when you settle with the government at the end of the year. Me, at $70,000 a year, if I do that, I probably will pay extremely little amount. And plus I have to pay for expenses. And my car is old enough now that it won't depreciate anymore. But it still runs great. And it still qualifies. So that's an argument that's very, very, debatable. So all these things that the naysayers go through is like, you need this, your car's going to depreciate, you have maintenance. Yeah, you're going to have maintenance, but it's not as bad if you get the right car as you think it is. I started here with a 2007 Hyundai Sonata, and I've had this thing for 3 years. And yeah, it's getting a little creaky and whatever, but I've only had to put in maybe $400 worth of major repairs in it in 3 years. The rest of it is just tires, and you buy them used. 35, 40 bucks a tire used. And you get almost as much out of those tires as you do for brand new ones. So you can, it's somewhere in between, guys. There are people that are making $1,000 to $2,000 a week doing Uber and Lyft. Yes, they are. They're working very hard at it. Good for them. But they're not working 19, 20 hours a day and sleeping in their cars. Now, come on. They're working just like anybody else that needs to work extra, that wants to make that mid-level executive pay. And they're doing it on their own terms. So, there you have it. Same thing with guys that are working 8 hours a day. You learn how to do a few things, you'll make just as much money as you do with a job fresh out of college. $30,000 to $40,000 a year, guaranteed. Or the equivalent of it, because you'll make 25 or 30 that you get to take all of it home on the front side, and you don't have to pay taxes on it. on the backside because you have enough deductions. You know, you're working, doing 40,000 miles a year, 50,000 miles a year. You're not going to pay taxes. You're going to get it all deducted back, as it should be, because the big businesses do the same thing. So anyways, that's all I have. Business has been a little slower lately than it had been a few weeks ago. Usually in Florida we do get a little bit of a slowdown between Mother's Day and sometime in the early summer, and in the early summer it does start to pick up because we do have, especially where we're at here in West Central Florida, we do have a lot of people that come from the Midwest after the kids get out of school. They do their early family vacations to Florida, and then they enjoy the rest of the summer up north. So still doing right now about $600 to $700 a week most weeks, and looking forward to getting busier again. I think this week I'm going to work a little extra, see if I can push for a little higher numbers. Other than that, it was great talking to you guys. It's been a while. You guys have a great evening. We'll talk soon. Peace.